morning everyone. So today we will be going through the day 2. So as part of the day 2 session, yesterday we have seen a few things. So what we did cover is we understood what is the next best action. So next best action is the right offer to the right customer at the right time. So we have also seen the difference between Pega decisioning and Pega marketing. Pega decisioning has the features to identify the next best action. Pega marketing has the features to communicate this next best action to the customer. So then we have seen the difference between inbound marketing and outbound marketing. So inbound marketing means the customer will contact the business and the business will promote something. Outbound marketing means the business will contact the customer without the customer contacting them. And then we have also seen how to practice this daily, day-to-day topics. So I have provided you the cloud edition. I hope that you have already checked it. So just go through and try to practice that. So now we will be seeing the next part of this course, the environment setup. So how do we set up this environment so that the application can be created for the Pega decisioning? Okay, so let us understand that. Okay, see, unlike Pega, Pega decisioning requires some services to be enabled so that we can work on the Pega decisioning application without any issues. Okay, there are some services that should be enabled at the node level so that we don't face any issues in the later stage. So let us see what are those services. Okay, so below are the decisioning services that should be running smoothly, that should be running in the node level. So the first one is ADM. ADM stands for Adaptive Decision Manager. Okay, ADM stands for Adaptive Decision Manager. So what does this service do is, this service is responsible for your adaptive models and predictive models to function normally. See, yesterday I told you what is the purpose of the model. So the model is used to analyze the customer data. For example, what did the customer buy before? Like for example, is the customer a uh, good spender or he does not spend much? What kind of products do he buy in his history, in his previous history? So all this information will be present in a feature that is called interaction history. So interaction history contains all the interactions of a customer. So now the model, what is the purpose of the model? Model is used to analyze the customer's interactions and provide the next best action. Okay, so for customer who bought a laptop, okay, laptop bag is the next best action. For a customer who bought a mobile cover is the next best action. So how does this model know that this customer bought laptop and this customer bought mobile? So that data will be present in the interaction history. So this service is responsible for uh, learning the model with the data from the interaction history. Okay, this service is responsible for learning the model with the data from the interaction history. So if at all this service is not enabled, your models will not be able to take the input data from the interaction history. So that is the reason ADM, Adaptive Decision Manager service, is responsible for your adaptive model and predictive model to work properly. Okay, so that is this first service that we need to enable. The second one that we have is decision data store, DDS. So we are going to learn about Cassandra. So there is some separate database in Pega decisioning that is called Cassandra database. Okay, So we have a separate database that is called Cassandra database. So what is the purpose of this Cassandra database? So we'll come to know that. Okay, we'll come to know that in the coming slides. Now, in order for the Cassandra database to work properly, we need to enable the DDS service. Okay, so for example, I want to retrieve the data from the Cassandra database. I want to store some data to the Cassandra database. To do that, this particular service should be enabled. Okay, so first one is used for adaptive model and predictive model to work properly. Second one is used to use the Cassandra database. So then the stream service is same as what we do in Pega. The stream, RTDG, real time. These three are used to do some real time operations. Okay, so in Pega decisioning also we have some real time operations are there. So in Pega, right, in core Pega, we have something like some file listener or some real-time file listener will be there, right? For example, whenever some file is placed in a folder, immediately the file listener has to process that. So it will be done by this real-time services. Same way, for example, whenever some item is queued to the queue processor, the queue processor has to start. So all these are some real-time operations, live operations. So for those kind of features in Pega decisioning, we have these three services to be enabled. That is stream, RTDG, and real time. So then background processing you already know, that is for queue processors, job schedulers, agents, and all that. Okay. So basically these are the extra services apart from the stream and background processing. ADM, DDS, RTGG, real time. All these are the services that we have to enable in order to make sure our Pega decisioning application runs properly. Okay, so clear, understood uh, about this services or any confusion?
Yeah, actually, I have one question here. Like the stream and the background processors are both are same because both the uh, scenarios we are doing the same thing, right? Like if you are doing some file listener or something, it is also doing in the background, right?
Yeah,
Or is
stream is
any
for Kafka. Basically, for Kafka, we need to enable stream. So your queue processor will use Kafka. So for Kafka to work properly, we will be using stream service. Background processing is for the all the other things like agents, job schedulers, all these things. Okay, but for stream,
okay,
Kafka is for stream.
okay,
Okay, yeah,
okay. And the
okay.
thing is like for ADM adaptive designer manager, it is holding the interaction history, right? Like these interactions like we are using the customer services interactions like we are creating call or chat this kind of interaction, right? Or these interactions are something different.
So this is the separate interaction history.
Oh,
So
okay,
this is the different interaction history here.
okay. Oh, what kind of interactions that is holding there?
So this will be any see that is also one interaction. These interactions are something like, for example, you send some promotion to the customer. Okay, so like yesterday I told you, right, the customer who already bought a laptop, the Pega decisioning is suggesting laptop bag as the next best action. Now you sent this laptop bag to the customer through Pega marketing. Now whether the customer shown interest or not, did he accept that offer or not, did he reject that offer, did he see that offer, all these are the customer interactions, which will be stored in the interaction history. Okay, whether the customer
Okay.
clicked on the purchase button or whether he clicked on I'm not interested button. So what did he do? Those are the interactions that will be there
Oh,
in
okay.
the
These
interaction
are
history.
all, I think, marketing interactions, right?
Right.
Okay, okay. Thank you.
Okay. Now, just a basic introduction to node and cluster. So the node is nothing but a server where the Pega PRPC instance has been installed. So if you are having multiple nodes, then your servers can communicate from the cluster using load balancing. So all this is basic thing which is already there in Pega also. Generally in real-time projects, most of the companies use multiple nodes and these multiple nodes will communicate together. So now enabling this service on some particular nodes, that is called as node classification. So node classification means classifying the services to the nodes. Okay, classifying the services to the nodes. So for example, if I go to this CDH, I go to the admin studio. It's there. So I go to the admin studio. So this is where you can see the nodes that are there in your system in the admin studio. So when you go to the admin studio and here you see I have one nodes running. So when I click on this nodes, I can see basically how many nodes are there here, and also I can see the node type. So this node type is nothing but the service. Okay. Whenever you have multiple nodes, right? If you go to your project Dev Studio, here you will be seeing multiple nodes will be there. So one node will be associated to background processing, batch. Another node will be associated to web user, like that. That means we are classifying which kind of users should be using which node. Okay, so that is what we call it as node classification. So node classification means we will be specifying, okay, for background processing related jobs you use node 1, for all the operators to use you use node 2, like that we will be specifying the node the service name equal to the node name, like that we'll be doing. So that part is called as a node classification. So how do we do? You can also try this in your personal edition. Okay. You can try it today if you are free. So what you have to do is you need to go to the Pega installation folder, go to the Tomcat folder. In that bin folder, in that there is a file called setenv.bat. Okay, setenv.bat. Right click this and open with Notepad. Then you will see one line like this. Hyphen denote type, like this you will be seeing. So there you need to set hyphen denote type equal to stream comma background processing comma web user. So like this you need to keep the values. Okay. So what we are doing by doing this is we are saying on this particular node you run all these services. That's what we are telling by setting this value. So we have two options. One option is if you want all the Pega services to run on a particular node, simply what you need to say is you need to say hyphen denote type equal to universal. Okay, so if you do that, all the Pega services, whatever is there, everything will run on that particular node. If at all you want to set manually, then you need to do like this: hyphen denote type equal to stream comma background processing comma ADM comma DDS comma TDG, like this. So try to do this exercise. Go to your Pega folder, Tomcat bin setenv.bat, open with Notepad and try to update this. Okay. So what we are doing here is we are just setting, okay, you run this Pega decisioning services. That's what we are setting here. So this manually when you will be doing it means when you have multiple nodes. But when you have a single node, you can directly set it to universal. That is what these people have also done. So directly they set hyphen denote type equal to universal, so that all the services will be running on this node only. But you will not do this when you have multiple nodes. When you have multiple nodes, you will select some services on node 1, you will select other services on node 2, like that you will be setting it. Okay, that's what you will be doing. So just try this exercise and let me know tomorrow if you are getting any issues or something. So just do this. Then what you have to do is uh, stop the server and start the server once again. Okay, or whenever the server is stopped, then only you do this and you start the server again. Go to the admin studio notes and check whether whatever you kept in the notepad, whether it is displaying here or not. Okay, so whatever the thing that you kept, right, the same thing should display here also. So then you can consider that it is classified. Got it? Understood what you need to do? Yeah. So this thing you can do it when your Pega server is down. Before you start the server, you can do this. Then you start the server and go to this place and check whether it is displaying or not. Okay. So
How to start the server here?
yeah, I think if you are using personal edition, you should be aware of that, how to start and stop.
Okay.
So have you used personal edition?
Yes, I used that.
Yeah, we have start and stop icon is there, right? Separately.
Okay, okay, okay.
Yeah, that is same thing,
Okay,
right?
we should stop and we should do here.
Right.
Okay.
So stop it, set the values and start it. That's it. Now let us go to the Dev Studio. So this is one verification that we have to do. So there is one more verification also that we have to do. So let us see how to do that. So first thing is, like I told you, just go to this path, then update this value in the notepad denote type. After updating, you need to go to the admin studio, check the notes and see whether it is displaying or not. Then you need to go to the configure, uh, then decisioning, infrastructure services. Okay, configure, decisioning, infrastructure services. All these things we are doing is part of environment setup. That means making sure that the environment is going to support the Pega decisioning application. So if any one of this is not working, then you will face some issues while working with that particular feature. For example, you see now I have decision data store. You can see the status is normal, then it is fine. I go to the adaptive decision manager ADM. The status is fine, so I will not face any issues. Then again data flows. Then you need to select each and everything. Like for example, I select this. Then check whether the status is normal or not for all of them. Okay, check each and everything and see whether it is normal or not. Okay, so you see I selected this. This is also normal. This is also normal. Then stream is also normal. So all the services for decisioning are having the status as normal. So if the status is normal means the service is running properly on that particular node. So if at all the status is not normal, so you will have something like failed, or you will not even see this line also. Okay, or you will see something like joining failed, something like that. So what we do in real time is to restart the server. Okay, so generally you will not do this. You will be, who will be doing this means the uh, who is it? So the admin team, right? They will be doing this thing. So if at all you don't see the status of the services as normal, you can raise a request to the administration team to restart the server once again. Okay. Most of the time restarting will fix the issue. But if at all still it is not fixing the issue, then you have to investigate further and you have to provide the suggestions what is happening. Maybe that server is the value might not be updated properly, or the server is not supporting the service. Many reasons can be there. Okay, but first thing, if it is not working after restart, first you check with the administration team what they are setting in the setenv.bat file. Okay, so in this file whether they are setting it properly or not, you check it with the help of them, then you try to update it properly. That's what you have to do. Okay, so this is generally the job of administration team, but you should also support them. Okay, understood till here? How do we need to enable the services?
Yeah, can you show us the path how we went to this decisioning services from cloud
Yeah,
or
yeah.
configure?
So I configure decisioning infrastructure. Okay, yeah. So then you will get all these things. You need to check one by one whether the status is normal or not. Okay, so all our decisioning related features are there here only. Configure decisioning. So this is there in your personal edition also. See again, like I am starting with decisioning. So until the marketing will start, I will tell you whatever is there, everything will be there in personal edition also. So whenever we start Pega marketing, I will tell you that we are starting Pega marketing. So till then, you can assume that everything is there in the Dev Studio in your personal edition. So you can do there also. Whatever we have done here, you can do the same thing in your personal edition also. Yeah. So you have to
Ravi,
enable. Yeah.
in personal edition also we need to set up the node services.
For testing purpose, you can set up, but if you set up like universal, everything will be running. In your personal action, everything will be set to universal. That means hyphen denote type equal to universal. Like that you will be seeing. But if you want to test it, then you can
Mhm.
modify this and you can test it, whether it is displaying or not. All these names, okay? All these names should be displayed in the admin studio. Okay,
Okay.
whatever is there in the screenshot, same thing you keep it. So restart the server,
Uh,
go to this place and check it. Then you check it in the Dev Studio also. You have to check in the both the places, not only at Admin Studio. In Dev Studio
Mhm.
also, you have to check it.
Okay, Ravi.
is there any DSS for this? Like we can set in Pega environment itself?
No, no, there is no DSS.
Okay.
There is no DSS. But like it in personalization, this will be automatically enabled. But in real-time project, you have to ask the admin team to do this job. They will be doing it generally because you don't have access to your server in real-time
Yeah.
project, right? So you
Yes.
have to tell them you have to do this and you have to configure like that. You have to tell them.
Okay.
Okay. So yeah, fine. Now coming to the roles and responsibilities. So we have certain roles and responsibilities here. Okay. Before that we have this. Okay, this thing is there. Okay. So I am telling about this ADM service, which is responsible for adaptive model and predictive model to work properly. So there is one more service that is called DDS. DDS stands for Decision Data Store. So Decision Data Store service is responsible for Cassandra database. So first of all, what is this Cassandra database? See, in Pega decisioning, Pega has recommended a separate database that is called Cassandra database. So why this particular database is recommended means in Pega decisioning projects, you will be completely interacting with customer, right? You will be completely interacting with customer. See, in normal core Pega applications, what you do, you will develop some portal, you will develop some functionality, you will develop some UI, and you will give it to them. So you will not communicate anything with customer most of the time. Okay, communicating with customer or interacting with them and getting their replies and responding to them. So generally, most of the scenarios you don't use it. But in Pega decisioning, it's not like that. You will be communicating and interacting with the customer directly. Okay, so you will send some offer to the customer. Customer will say, I am interested, I am not interested, like that. So if he's saying I am interested, then again you will store the data. Then based on that information, again you will give some other offer. So customer interaction will be bit more compared to your Pega application here, because we are doing some marketing. Okay, we are doing marketing means we are promoting something to the customer. Okay, so it is very important that we need to store the customer data and the customer interactions. Customer interactions means we send some offer to the customer, whether the customer has accepted that offer or he has rejected that offer, all this information. So we have to store this information securely in order for future future promotion or future marketing, because that is what the model will do, right? For example, you are starting a model will check this particular customer in the past what kind of products he's purchased. That is what the model will check. So it is very important that this customer data and the customer interactions are stored securely, and Cassandra database is well known for two features: scalability and availability. Scalability means the database should function properly with one customer or 1 million customers also. See, in your core Pega application, right, you are using Oracle database, right, or PostgreSQL database. There, for example, right now you have some 100 200 customers are there. So with that 100 200 customers, you might not face any database related issues like slow database or retrieving the data is taking too much time. It will not be any issue. But if there are same PostgreSQL database, if there are some 1 million, 10 million customers are there, you will definitely see some issues while trying to fetch those customers or store some data to the table. Your database might be hanging. So we cannot directly use the same database for Pega decisioning also. So that is the reason Pega is recommending a separate database that is called Cassandra database, which is known for two features: scalability and availability. That means scalability means this database will not have any performance issues even with 100 customers or 100 million customers also. Okay, even with 100 million customers also, the database will give the data and it will store the data without giving any performance issues. That is the scalability. Now availability means, see, sometimes your database will get crashed and all the data will be gone. But in Cassandra database, even though if it is crashed also, the data can be still retrieved. So this database will automatically create restore points, so that even though if it is failed also, your data will never be lost. Okay, whatever data that you store into Cassandra database, if you store it, you will never lose the data. Okay, until you manually delete the data will definitely be there even during critical database failure also. So due to these two reasons, Pega has recommended Cassandra database, okay, for Pega decisioning projects. Okay.
Mm. Quick question, Harsham. Is this a part of Pega PRPC based product, or
Yeah,
we need to maintain two databases, one for
yeah,
decisioning and one for
yeah,
Oracle?
I'm coming to that. Yeah,
Okay.
so this Cassandra database is part of Pega decisioning projects only. That means Pega has introduced a internal Cassandra database already configured in Pega decisioning applications. Okay, that means when you create a Pega decisioning application, it will ask you whether you want to create an internal database or not. Okay, because this is a recommendation from Pega, but not mandatory. So it is not like you cannot proceed without Cassandra database. You can still proceed without Cassandra database, but it is recommending this Cassandra database for Pega decisioning. So when you are creating the application, right, it will show this option whether you want to create an internal database or not. Of course, you can also configure one external Cassandra database also at a later point of time. Okay,
Okay.
but Pega is also providing one internal database for decisioning applications. While creating application, you will come to see this feature, whether you want to have
Okay.
some internal database or not. Yeah.
Similar to the
Okay.
post track, we also can play with this Cassandra as well.
Right. Right. So
Okay.
we can use both of them in our application.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. The only advantage that we have is data will never be lost, whatever you keep in that. Second advantage is if you are facing some issues in future, for example, right now you have only 1,000 customers, you are not facing any issues, but you are having 1 million, 10 million customers in the future. So you can retrieve from Cassandra database at that time instead of PostgreSQL. So you will not face any issues retrieving the data or storing the data. Without any issues, it will store the data, all these things. Okay, so that is the reason it is recommending this, but this is not mandatory. That means without this, you cannot proceed, nothing like that. You can still proceed, but this is just a recommendation. So even in your projects also, you have to recommend to the business. If they don't want to accept, that is their wish. But you have to do this recommendation to use this Cassandra database.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay. Okay.
yeah, mainly for these
But
two
it will be
purposes.
like
Yes.
now the case information will, for example, the real time information, the case information will be on Oracle and this will be on a Cassandra, right?
Right. So we will be storing two types of information in Cassandra database. One is the customer information, like what is
Okay.
the customer age, phone number, what kind of products he purchased, all these things. Second thing is you will be storing the customers interactions. So customers interactions means like what did he purchase before? Sorry, what did he accept before? What did he reject before? We sent some offer to the customer. Did the customer accept it or reject it? So the customer interactions and the customer's information, this kind of data you will be storing in the Cassandra database. Okay.
Okay.
Additionally, apart from your PostgreSQL database, apart from that,
Okay.
it will be storing into this. Yeah. Okay. So this is a recommendation. Better to follow this. I have seen all the projects follow this Cassandra database also. Okay. Okay. So we will see how to create this database. All these things we'll be seeing it. But this is used for two purposes, scalability and availability. Now coming to the next feature that we have, or the next thing that we have is context dictionary. See, whatever we are seeing today is part of environment setup or application setup. That means before you actually create an application, what you need to do, that's what we are seeing today. So as part of that, first step is you need to enable all these services, verify whether the services are running properly or not. Second part is whether you want to use Cassandra database or not. So for example, if you see this decision data store, if you just click on edit settings, this is where you will see the internal Cassandra database details. You can see here, right? Cassandra SQL port, Cassandra user ID, Cassandra password. So this is the internal Cassandra database details. If you want to use external Cassandra database, you need to select this option. Use external Cassandra cluster. Then from the external database, you need to copy paste all these details. What is the Cassandra host, Cassandra user ID, Cassandra password, all these details you have to copy paste. But otherwise, when you are enabling the decisioning services, then and there itself, this Cassandra database will be set up. Okay, at the time only this database will be set up, so that you can just use it, or you don't want to use it. That is your wish, but this is recommended. Okay, now coming to the next prerequisite, that is the context dictionary. So we are telling that in Pega decisioning, we are going to identify what is the next best action. In Pega marketing, we are going to send that next best action to the customer. Now, uh, to which customer you will be sending? See, if you take any business, right? For example, if you take a uh, HDFC Bank, something, for example, HDFC Bank. So the HDFC Bank people, do they want to promote the offers to their customers, or they want to promote the offers to the people who are not customers but they are interested, like prospects? That means, for example, I am not a customer of HDFC Bank. Then I have sent some email that I want to open an account. So whether they want to promote to those people, or let us say they want to promote to the people who have liked their Facebook page or YouTube channel, whether they want to promote to those people. So like that, different types of customers will be there, right? For every business, there will be different types of customers will be there. For example, leads, customers, social media followers, users who have downloaded the mobile application of HDFC Bank. For example, some person has downloaded the HDFC Bank application from the Play Store. So whether they want to promote to those people, right? So all these are the different types of customers to whom the business can promote. So every business will have this kind of customers will be there, right? Every business will have that. Okay. So just a minute, guys. Okay, just a minute. So till here, understood or any confusion? Okay. See, every business will have different types of customers. For example, uh, I can say every business will have different types of audience. Like they can promote to the existing customers. They can promote to the people who are not yet customers. They can promote to the people who are liking their Facebook page. So we cannot simply say the audience to whom we are promoting as customers, right? We cannot say it as customers because let us say I'm promoting to some social media followers. I'm promoting some offer to the social media followers. There might be the people who are already customers. There might be the people who are not already customers. So how will I call them customers? So we generically call those people as subject. Okay. So that is the reason generic name for those people is called as subject. Subject means the type of audience. So this can be a customer, this can be a lead, this can be a social media follower, any kind of thing, any kind of audience, we call it as a subject. And the table where the audience information is present, that is called as a subject type. Okay, in Pega, okay, in Pega decisioning I'm telling you, the type of audience is called as subject. The table where the subject information is present is called as subject type, and the primary key for that particular audience is called as subject ID. For example, if you are now considering the scenario where HDFC Bank is promoting to the existing customers. Now, subject is customers, subject ID is, let us say, customer ID, subject type is the class name where the customer information is present, like ABC dash data dash customer, like that, for example. Okay, so generic name we call for the audience as subject. So depending on the type of audience, the subject value will be different. Okay, understood or any confusion, or is it not clear? Yes, guys. So any confusion or you're understood what I told? Yeah, Cassandra is no SQL. Yeah, Cassandra is no SQL. Yeah, this one clear. See, different businesses, right? They will have different types of audience. So since we cannot call a audience as customers, we call them as subjects. Okay. So the subject is the audience type. Subject ID is the primary key of that audience. Subject type is the table where the data is stored. Okay, got it?
Yeah, this subject type, it is stored in Cassandra or it is a Pega table?
No, everything will be stored in your general table only. Cassandra is a additional. option. So if you are choosing Cassandra, then you have to store it in both places, in your Oracle
Oh,
database and also in your uh, Cassandra database. So, but
is both
generally
the
in the
things
same
like
database, in both the things, both
the
the things will
customer
be there.
information and interactions both will be stored in Pega and
Correct.
okay.
Yes, in Cassandra both. Okay, if you are choosing Cassandra, then you have to store in both the places. But if you are not choosing, then you have to store it in one database only.
Okay,
Okay.
the main purpose of Cassandra is while doing the decisioning, we are using the data from the Cassandra, not from the Pega tables, right?
Right, from Cassandra you will be using so that it will
Okay,
be faster and you don't lose the data. Okay, yeah,
okay,
that is the purpose. Yes. Okay. So yeah, we have a separate session. I'll show you how to configure that and how to store it in both the places. All these things we'll be seeing in the coming sessions. But for now, theoretically, that is the purpose of using Cassandra. Now, coming to this context dictionary, we are going to see for that reason only we are learning this thing. See, because we cannot restrict to only one type of audience. Any business, right? Every business will have different types of audience. For example, I can also tell one more audience also. The people who have visited the location. For example, you are purchasing some product on online from the Reliance store. Okay, so you are an online customer. So you are not purchasing online. You went directly to the DMart. So you are an offline user. So again, here also you have two types of users, right? Online customers, offline customers. Okay, online customers and offline customers. So we can promote to both the type of audience, online customers and offline customers also. So that is the reason generically we call it as subject or context. Okay, so that is what we configure in the context dictionary. So what is the purpose of context dictionary means in the context dictionary we will configure all the types of contexts. Context is nothing but again type of audience. For example, customers is one context. Social media followers, that is another context. uh, Leads, that is another context. So all these things we have to configure it in the context dictionary. Why do we need to configure in the context dictionary means, see, for example, in Pega marketing, right, we do communication with the customer, right? That's what I told you, right? In Pega marketing we will interact with the customer. In Pega decisioning we will find out the offer for the customer. So if you are communicating with the customer every time, you don't need to specify, okay, this is the email ID where you need to send, this is the mobile number where you need to send, this is the customer type, or this is the audience to whom I want to send. You don't need to do all the time. The Pega marketing, all the features, they will directly take the information from the context dictionary. For example, what did I do? I went to App Studio settings. Mm, okay, I went to App Studio settings and context dictionary. That's what I did. Okay, settings and context dictionary. Now if you see here, they have configured some three contexts: customer, account, prospect. So let us say I want to promote to some customer name called John. Okay, I want to promote to some customer name called John. So every time I am promoting, I don't need to specify, okay, this is the John email ID, this is the John mobile number. I don't need to do that, because when I am configuring the context dictionary only, this data will be taken. So let me show you that. It is loading, still loading. Why this much time?
Ravi, customers and users we can treat it as a subject, huh?
Yeah, any type of audience we can treat it as subject. Any type of audience to whom you promote, right? All those audience we call it as subjects. Customer is one subject. Social media followers, they are one subject. Offline customers, they are one subject. So like the different subject will be there. and subject is nothing but context. Context or subject both are same. Okay,
Okay.
context or
So
subject both are same.
this context history, it will be stored in context dictionary. Yeah?
Right.
Okay.
So see, this we have to do it basically after you set up the environment. You have to create the context dictionary. Okay, so that whenever you are doing some promotion to the customer, that information will be taken from the context dictionary. Okay, it's taking too much time. I'll just go back and come again. What happened for this? So the server is disconnected or what? It's taking this much time. So if you go to the mm, intelligence prediction studio, this is how you switch to the dev studio and admin studio. Okay, intelligence prediction studio, then I switch to the app studio, then I go to the settings, context dictionary. Okay, so now you see I have three contexts are there here: customer, account and prospect. So now I click on the customer. You can see on the right side it is asking you the details. What is the singular name? Singular name you call it customer, plural name I call it as customers, and the table where the customer data is present. So this is the class which is pointed to a table where my customer data is present. Now along with the customer data, where is the uh, where is the email id, what is the email id property, what is the full name property, and what is the mobile phone property. So if you see here, directly I am configuring the customer details here itself. Okay, in this particular table, this is the email address property, this is the mobile number property, this is the full name property of the customer. So now let us say I will say like send the offer to the John. Automatically it will take the email address from this particular property only. Okay, that is what it will do. Okay, for example, I'll say send an email to the John. So it'll take the email address of the John from this particular property. I'll say send an SMS to John. So it will take the phone number of the John from this particular property. So that you don't need to always mention uh, where you need to send, to whom you need to send, all these things. You will simply select I need to promote to the customer, then automatically it will take this data and it will populate this data from this table. That is what it will do. Okay, same way I will send I'll say send an email to prospect, then it will come to the prospect and it will take the information from the prospect table, whatever is there. That is what it will do. Okay, understood? So that's what you do here. Basically what you do is you will configure the context dictionary. Okay.
Actually, the properties which we are displaying here, those are all keys of the table, or it is common for every context. The phone number and operator name, something it is different displaying,
Now
right?
why they will be the keys of the table? The keys of the table is this right here, it is displaying class keys, right?
Only
It's clearly customer ID is the primary key.
okay. Below
See,
properties, it is common for every context dictionary, or you have to specify
see,
those things.
so you have to specify these property names, but this is not the primary key. See, there is a
Okay.
possibility that two people name can be same, right? So how will they
Yeah.
be considered as a primary key if it is same? Okay, so you have to basically create a table and this data will be automatically populated. Which data means primary key will be automatically populated. But in which column you have full name of the customer, in which column you have the email address, in which column you have the mobile number. All these things you have to specify. Okay, you have to specify
Okay.
this data.
Okay. We have to map it here. Okay. Okay.
Right, right. So the good thing is, starting from Pega 8.8, when you are creating an application, it will create with a wizard. It will create with a wizard. So everything end to end will be handled by the wizard itself. You don't need to do this manually. If you are using before 8.7 version, then only you do this manually. Starting from I think 8.7 onwards, there is a setup wizard is there. That wizard will only automatically populate the details. Okay, so I'll show you. We'll go to that also. We'll see that also. Now, if you are using some old version, how do you add a context? So to add a context, you have to click on this add context. Then you have to provide the details. Like this, you have to do. Okay. So now here I have three contexts: customer, account, and prospect. So at any given point of time, I can make I can have only one primary audience. So you can see here, right? I have only one primary audience. So my primary audience is customer. What about the remaining means? The remaining will be considered as secondary audience. So what is the difference between primary audience and secondary audience means? Whichever context is the primary audience, to those people only you can do the promotion. Whenever I have to promote to account, then I have to change the primary and I have to select the account as a primary context. That is what I have to do. Okay, so you can have multiple contexts. That means you can have multiple audience like customers, social media customers, Facebook users. Like that you can keep 10, 20 also you can create. But there will be only one primary context. That means the primary audience whom you are targeting now. Secondary audience, you can, if you want to promote to those, you have to do the change primary and you have to select that and you have to apply. That's what you have to do. Okay. So context is nothing but audience. Then you will configure what is the mobile number, what is the email address and full name of that customer. Then whatever the data that is associated with the customer. For example, if you take a scenario, right? If you take a business scenario, let us say HDFC Bank is promoting the products. HDFC Bank is having uh, a context called customers. Let us say there is a scenario, there is some credit card that is called standard card. So the HDFC Bank has to promote the standard card to the customers only when the customer is not having the standard card, right? See, because generally that's what the bank will do, right? Generally, you can have only one type of credit card. You cannot have same credit cards two, right? That you cannot have that. So if you have to do that, you need to know whether the customer is having that credit card or not. So that data you call it as associated data. Associated data means whatever the customers associations are there. For example, customers existing personal loans, customers existing credit cards, customers existing debit cards. So it is very important that we should have the associated data also, because if the customer is already having the standard card, we cannot promote the same card to the customer, right? That is the reason we should have also additional context that is called associated context or associated data. Associated data means whatever the customers are having already, that is called as associated data. See, anything, even if you take for example different type of audience, like for example social media customers. So for social media customers, whether the customer is having Facebook account or YouTube account, so this kind of information is the associated data, like that. So what we are doing here is customers, and if you scroll down, you see I have accounts is the accounts join, that is the association. So how we are doing this association means using this join condition. See, again, you don't need to worry all doing this, all these things. Everything is done by the wizard only. You don't need to worry about these things. I'll tell you how to do that also. You see, customer is having the association as accounts, and it is done by using association rule. Basically, what they are doing is they are doing the class join. That's it. That's what they are doing. So just imagine this accounts as products. So this is my customer class. This is my products class. So if you want to know this customer is having which product, we should have a common column between both the tables. For example, something like customer ID. So this customer ID should be present in customer table, and also this should be present in the product table also, right? Then only you can actually join these two and you can get the customer product information. So that is what they are doing here also. Okay, so this is nothing but called as associated data. Associated data means what kind of products the customer is having, what services the customer is having, all this information will be there in that. So we have primary context, secondary context, and associated data. Total three things are there here: primary context, secondary context, and associated data. So associated data is also very important. You have to get this information. So how do I get all this information means generally this information will be coming from the customer service team. See, you will not create the customers, right? Customers will be given by your business only. Okay, customers will be given by your business only. That's what you have to do. So understood this, or any not clear or any confusion on this? See, so what I mean here is we need total three types of information. First one is what is the I'll just tell you notepad. So basically before you create the application, Pega decisioning application, you need to request for three types of information. Okay, you need to request for three types of information. What are the list of audiences? Okay, what are the list of audience? You need to ask the business. Okay, ask the business, what are the list of audience to whom you are promoting. So then the business will say, customer, I want to promote to customers, I want to promote to social media followers, like that the business will say. Now you need to ask how to get this information. Okay, how to get this data. Okay, like what all customers are there, what is their customer name, age, phone number, all this information, how to get this data. You need to ask this data. So then the business will provide you the data. Then next thing you need to ask is what is the associated data for the audience. For example, if you are taking customers, then you need to ask what is the associated data. For example, existing loans, existing credit cards, all these are nothing but the associated data. Now how to get this associated data? Provide the information. Okay, what are the existing loans for the customers, where is the information, give the data to us. So all this data you need to ask and you need to take it from the business. Okay, the business only will provide all this information. You have to simply take this data and you have to import in your application. That's what you have to do. Okay, see, this is very important and this is a very first step. Before you proceed with the decisioning, right, you have to have this information handy. Generally this information comes from customer service team. Whoever is part of customer service team, right, they will be having this customer data and the customer associated data. All this information will be there with them. So generally they will only provide you this data. Then you can configure the context dictionary. That's what you can do after that. Okay, got it? So just tell me if you are not clear on something or did not understand, let me know.
Where you showed some file, no, where we need to take it as a notepad, and what is the file name of that one?
Which file name?
So to add this like RTDZ data store and all.
Uh-huh. So this word, this is the one here. Yeah, this one. Set env.bat.
Set TN.
Okay. Go to the Pega folder. In the Pega folder, you have Tomcat. In Tomcat, you have bin folder. In bin folder, you have env.bat. This is the file name.
Okay. Thanks.
Open this file and set the values like this. Okay. So clear on this
Uh,
case, understood on this
Actually,
context.
in association joining, it is just like we are using the reports class join, same way we
Right.
can edit the
Same.
condition. Same.
Yes.
Okay.
Same thing.
Okay.
Same way we are doing. Only thing is, since it is a frequently joined data, right? Every time this join should be there. So we will be creating association. That is the purpose of that. Okay, same thing that they are doing here also. Customer ID equal to accounts joined at customer ID. So you are saying customer is having some existing loan. So in the loan table and customer table, both the tables, one common column should be there. Something like customer ID. That common column you have to map it in the association. That's what you have to
Okay.
do. Okay. Yeah, this information will be supplied to you from the business. Then based on that, you have to create it. So if you see my customer table, we'll quickly see the customer table, and tomorrow we'll be seeing the application creation. So since this is an sample application, everything, all the information is already there. Okay. But in real time
Okay.
project, you have to create everything from scratch. Okay. So I'm
Okay.
opening the customer table.
Yeah, meantime, I have one more question. Like the Cassandra, like we are maintaining the data like a customer and interaction, and the same thing it is we are holding in the Pega also. It is duplicate data, right? Like we are placing the two different places. It is the use volume of the data.
Right, right. But it is a separate database, no, not an issue. Okay,
Okay,
it is a separate database, and like I told, right, huge volume also Cassandra will support. That's what I told, right? So that will not be an issue. Even if you create millions of records, also there will be no issue with that. Okay,
okay,
because Cassandra will index the data and it will store the data in multiple nodes. So when you are using Pega decisioning, at least minimum of 3 nodes are recommended for your application. So since there are multiple
okay.
nodes, it will distribute the data on all the nodes. It will do the distribution so that the data is distributed and you can have no issues with the performance.
Yeah, actually, I understand the purpose of that, but still we are even though it is a different database, still again it is a
Yeah,
duplicate
we'll come
data,
to
right?
that topic when we see Cassandra topic. We'll come to that.
Okay, fine.
Okay.
Okay.
So this is
So
my
the
customer table. You can see here. Yeah.
yeah, here the environment which you are showing, which is the Pega Academy Cloud version, right?
Right.
Uh,
Right. Right.
so when we are clicking on that production studio, it is asking you should add your access group. And
You are getting some error. Huh?
yeah,
So with what operator ID did you log in?
uh, the decision architect something is there, no? Not
Yeah,
operator.
should not give any issues. Okay, so anyways, this is my customer table and how the records are stored. You can see tomorrow we'll be creating the application. So we'll be seeing how to create the application. But for today, what we have seen is the pre-requirement for creating application. That means setting the environment, creating the database, and understanding about this context dictionary. So you don't need to worry whether we have to do everything manually. Like I told, the wizard will take care of all the things. So tomorrow, I'll show you how to start that wizard, how to run that wizard. We'll be seeing that in the tomorrow session.